Hello and welcome back to Vintage Treasures, and today we're going to be looking at the Fright Features Ghostbusters. This is the entire line. They're not complete, which is why I didn't make individual videos on them. And I don't have all the Super Fright Features Ghostbusters. I am missing Peter, I think. So I plan on making that video after I acquire Peter. But we're going to look at all these figures. Oh, actually, I forgot. I have Egon's ghost. So I have that. So yeah, let's look at these figures individually. We have Egon, we have Peter, we have Janine, Ray, and Winston. Winston does not work, and I think that is a common issue. We'll go through common issues with these guys, because there is quite a bit. Individually, there's issues, but there's also issues all around. I mean, they're cheaply made, mass-produced, and it was 1987, so we weren't as advanced as we are today. Still great toy engineering, and they kept them quite small considering they had mechanical parts in them. So we're going to start with Egon. Now, before I even say anything about the figure itself, we're going to get this out of the way and show another Egon, because I do have two of this guy. He's quite common, he's pretty cheap in this condition, not this condition. If you notice any difference, and it might not appear clear at first, but if you are a collector of Ghostbusters, you might have noticed it right away. The tie is still intact, and on this one it's not, and it's very common you find them without their tie. It's very hard to track one down with the tie, so I'll show you what that does. If you put the arm down, his tie goes flying up in the air, and his mouth opens and his head goes up, and without the tie, it just doesn't look as cool. What happens a lot is, well, you can even see it on here. There is a stress mark right where the tie breaks, which is around there, which is where the plastic welding ends, is where the stress mark is, and it's usually where it breaks. It's hard to track one down with the tie, as I said. But I can see why this breaks. You lean it down, the tie tips already. Look at that. So it can go all the way up here. Of course, that's gonna snap, and that's very dangerous. Just doing that for an example. I could only imagine what this looked like in a toy box. But I do think it makes quite a large difference having the whole tie there. It does make the figure look a bit better on display as a whole. And the paint's not too bad on this. It does have a bit of foxing on it, which is kind of what I expect on these figures, the plastic they're molded in. But let's talk about the figure itself. So this figure is sculpted new compared to the original Ghostbusters. The suit's completely different. The face is different because they needed to add that little feature for the mouth. And it's painted in there. The tongue is painted, so we have a bit of detail in there. The eyes are painted, which I kind of expected with the eyeglasses and all that. There's a lot of foxing on this guy, you can see it. It's apparent. It is quite apparent, even more in the back. But to find one with the tie, that was enough for me, because I know how hard they are to track down. I'm still amazed I got one. Even with all the foxing, I still think it's a great figure. But to talk about the figure itself, it has red boots. The paint palette on this, I guess I should say, is red and blue. And then we have the little bits of pink, white, and the yellow color for his hair, of course. Not a whole lot of colors. We do have paint. We do have a bit of paint on the tie where the tie is, which I think is a cool detail. It makes the tie look a lot better than it would if it didn't have it there. Yeah, we're still using the Columbia Pictures. No sign of Kenner on there. Doesn't say anything about Kenner on there. So anyone who found this figure might not know what company made it. They'll probably know by that what it's from. Ghostbusters is pretty recognizable, but surprisingly, a lot of people don't know about the show, which is where these came from. And if you didn't know that, these are based on the show, not the movie. They didn't make any toys for the movie until years after the movie came out. I mean, I think they had the original figures, which I have here, and then they had the '97 releases, which is like repaints and stuff. Then we finally got some movie stuff in the early 2000s when collecting started to be a thing. That late '90s stuff is pretty hard to track down. I think it was Extreme Ghostbusters. It's hard to track that stuff down, and I don't find it too interesting. They did resculpt them. I think it's cool. I'd pick it up if I saw it for cheap at like a yard sale or on eBay, but I don't think I'll be going into a deep venture into that anytime soon. The ghost that Egon comes with is this little chubby pink guy. He stands up pretty well because he's a bit of a tripod. He has no back of his mouth, but he does have some sharp little piranha teeth, a little spring neck, some wings. I guess he doesn't have any hands. And this is actually pretty hard plastic compared to the original rubbery plastic they used on the original Ghostbusters. So, something to note when looking at these, because they might be broken. The second figure we're going to look at is Ray. I think this figure is better looking than the Egon. Egon's in a bit of a laboratory setting with what he's wearing. This is more of them fighting with his binoculars. I don't know the exact name for the binoculars, but he has them on his head and the whole suit get up. I think it might even look better than the original figures. We get some more variety on there with the colors, and they released the same year, so it was nice to see that. And plus we get the action feature. Something I did notice is that 2 of the Ghostbusters have it on their left arm, 2 of the Ghostbusters have it on their right arm, and Janine has it on both of her arms. We'll look at that a bit later. Paint on this guy can get scuffed on the boots, so do keep an eye out for that. Same with the oven mitts. I call them oven mitts. I don't know if they're actually oven mitts, but they sure look like it. The Ghostbusters emblem on the shirt, it looks really cool, and I don't see them get damaged a lot because of the way the jacket is like molded around it. It's hard to get them damaged, but the goggles are always damaged. And you can see that the play feature is his ears popping out and his hair going up with the goggles. And this is what it looks like from the back. It's pretty cool looking. I like this figure a lot. I do want to buy the accessory and the ghost for him, just to complete him, because I really do I like most of the Ray figures they made. Wouldn't say he's my favorite Ghostbuster, but he's definitely got a lot of good figures made for him. I mean, the Super Fright features one is even cool too, but we're not getting into that one yet because I haven't gotten that last figure I need to complete that collection and show that one off. Color on this one, we have a bit of gray for the boots, a lot of this blue stuff for his belt, shoulder pads, and his oven mitts. Gray for that, and I think the casting plastic is his hair color. That's nice, because that means it can't chip. Then we have the eyes, which can smudge. They do smudge, so do keep an eye out for that. Pun not intended there. And the back got a little scuff there, so maybe keep an eye out for that. I don't know if that's a common issue. I haven't seen it a whole lot. I know this pocket can get pretty damaged though. So let's move on to the next figure. I thought I'd just get this one out of the way since he doesn't work. This is my Winston. I got some purple. I love the purple. I wish it did more purple in this line. Got the purple. The hair is not molded by itself, so that's just colored on black. The eyes, the eyebrows. We have some color in the mouth. We have the white teeth and the pink inside of his mouth. Then yellow all over him. And what's initially happens with this figure when you buy him is you push his arm down, which I'm not going to do. Well, I'll show you why I'm not going to do it. It broke off. It's just hanging on there, kind of. But if you push that down, his head's supposed to spin. And it does that, and then it springs back down. The mechanism's quite complex. If you want to look at that mechanism, I suggest you watch a video by Toy Polloy. He uploaded a video where he took one of these apart and fixed it. It was a good video. I watched the whole thing. I watch his videos. If you like my videos, you'll probably like his, but I couldn't get mine open, so I gave up. You can see right here, I I did try to split him open a bit. But I think I'm just going to buy a new one. He doesn't have any of his accessories, and he's missing his ghost. And the arm. So, I think I'm just going to get a new one. Don't think I'm going to toss this. I might customize it. I might just put it in the background to kind of fill in my collection, but I think I'm definitely going to get a new one. I'd probably say this is the figure I want to complete the most. I am missing his ghost, and I'll explain to you why I want to complete him. This little hook accessory holds the ghost, and there's like two ghosts that are joined together by their tails, and it can hold on here, but it can also hold on his shoulder, so I think it looks really cool. I probably want to complete him more than I want to complete my Fright Features Ray. He's a bit loose in the legs, but he can stand up if you don't play with him a whole lot. Paint on this one, there's not a whole lot, but I think it works if you have the accessory. There's the yellow for the vest, the gray, and this is just the base color. And there's a bit of paint on his eyes and eyebrows, but not a whole lot of color going on with him. Actually, this part's molded in the flesh tone, so this is all painted. That probably can yellow pretty bad. So I guess keep an eye out for that one. It's not a problem I had to deal with, but if you're looking to buy one, I'd definitely look at it. But let's look at that fright feature. This is a cool one. His hair comes up, and his eyes pop out, and he opens his mouth. A lot to fit into this tiny little figure. But as I said, they were already working on a small scale. Kenner was, because they were working on Ghostbusters. They were working on Star Wars figures, and that's a lot smaller scale. So this is probably easy work for them. I do like the accessory. It looks okay. It looks like something I'd see more with the Alien line than I would Ghostbusters, but I do think it works. And it works even better with the Ghost, so I hope I could pick that up soon. Lastly is Janine, and I see quite a bit of issues with this figure when I was trying to purchase one. I did end up getting her in a lot. There's the paint damage that happens to her shoes, which you can see right there. Is this whole thing, her legs are casted in pink. The tips of her shoes as well. Her hands are casted in this color, so the arm sleeves can actually come off instead of the hands. I think she's casted in the fleshy color completely, because her chest is even, the paint's coming off there. And they just painted over it, which means that all this paint can come off, which is not good, because it means a lot of damage can happen. Also, I see a lot of the time, not a lot of the time, but I'd say a good amount of times I've seen these pieces broken on her glasses, which is not good. It does look weird in a collection. Also, the eyebrows are quite thin, so if those are missing, it would look weird. Also, the action feature, I'd probably say it breaks second most, only beaten by Winston. The hair comes up, and the glasses come out. It's pretty cool, but it is a skinny little rod coming through her arms there to power the mechanism, and that breaks a lot because of how skinny it is, so I'm very delicate with this figure. It breaks very easily, but there's a good amount of detail on this figure. Not in the body. I mean, on the body we have the gray for the boots and the pink suit, and the belt's not even colored differently, but we do have a good amount on the head because we have the black for the eyebrows, the eyelashes, the eyes themselves. Then we have the green for the glasses. The lipstick is actually a different color pink than the suit. And then the tiniest little bit of blue for her earrings, which is, I think that's an interesting little detail they included. Because, I don't know, I think they could have used the green and gotten away with it, but it looks better with the blue. Also, something to note is that the Ghostbusters logo is pink on this. I think that's just because that's how the Ghostbusters logo regularly is. No, not even. If we take this Winston arm, you can see that it's gray, but they painted the logo white, so I don't know, it's weird. The Ghostbusters logo is pink on there. That's weird. So yeah, mine's working, but definitely something to look in the description for. Again, with these Fright Features figures, you can't tell unless you look in the description, and they put it in the description. So definitely check the description, and check out Toy Polloy if you're not already subscribed. You'd probably like his content. He posts similar content what I post. He's more fixing the toys, so if you're a collector, you should definitely subscribe. Just save a couple bucks if you have something that's broken and you don't want to replace it. Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I post videos like this once a week, every Wednesday, and I plan on uploading more, but my schedule has been a bit tight, so every Wednesday I post once a week, that's for sure. I post content like this, toys from the 70s, 80s, 90s, mostly the 90s. There's a good amount of 80s in there, and a tiny bit of 70s in there. So if you like that content, subscribe to the channel so you can watch my videos when I upload them, and have a great rest of your day or night, and goodbye.